Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Fever take on the Storm tonight, and I want to give you all the keys to this game. And I want to be up front and prepare you. Was already going to be the hardest game on our road trip, and the Storm are really good. They're really good this season. They just got off of beating the Liberty, 1 day of rest. We're going to take them on at home in Climate Pledge, and this team is very good. But the Fever have a tendency to play good against good opponents. And the team has been bonding a lot on this road trip. Sophie Cunningham talked about it in their pregame media coverage. Stephanie White talked about how much they're trying to get into consistency and doing what works instead of going away from it or trying to read and counter before our opponents are countering. So all good discussions and things that are happening. This team is bonding. These are the moments that kind of build the team. And another thing that I want to talk about is the tail of the tape between these two teams. Realize the Storm are a top 4 team in the league currently, but I also want to highlight, as bad as everyone says the Fever are, and as much as it hurts when you watch and we lose these close, tough games, the team overall as a team is playing well. They're doing a lot of good things. They are just making the little mistakes that make those mistakes down the stretch and let teams get back and win, because this is a very tough and difficult league to play. So the Storm are crazy efficient. They are second in both field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. For context, the Fever are fourth in field goal percentage and third in field goal percentage in the entire league. They're an efficient team too. Now, the Storm are also a really dialed in, cohesive team. As far as assists, they are also second in the league in assists. They are good at setting each other up, a lot of times in transition. The Fever, on their hand, are sixth, so they're top half of the league, but they're not overall world beaters. They've slid down a little bit. And then as far as pace, the Fever are third in pace in the league. And the Storm, they're 10th. They're a slow team. They like to use the clock. They're going to fight for every shot. They're going to drag you and molasses you down, which is going to be one of the things that the Fever are going to have to contend against into this matchup. So let's talk about what the Storm are good at. What do they like to do? So on offense, it's heavy DHO, it's heavy pick and roll, top of the arc, and they run pretty much everything off that with Skylar Diggins, Erica Wheeler, and then NECA usually is their focal point. It feels very similar to what we do with Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Sometimes they work in a double stagger. The guards love to drive. If you give them a straight shot to the basket, they will take it, so we need to make sure that we block those off. They are, again, one of the slowest paced teams, so you know they're going to slow the ball down, but we can also eat into the pace of them even further by picking up full court, which is going to be some of the keys as we go through their different players and their lineup. We can't fight under the double staggers. They will just launch threes, and if they get hot, they will beat you. They are very efficient with their threes. If you give them the open three, their three shooters will shoot. And it also includes NECA and some of their bigs. And they will abuse Dominique Malonga's height. If you don't know who Dominique Malonga is, she's a French player. She's 19, the youngest player in the WNBA, and she is 6'6". She is big, but she is raw, which is why you don't see her. Everyone thought that she was going to be the Wembanyama Rookie of the Year runaway, and she hasn't been because she's had some growing pains getting to the league, being such a young and new player. Now, transition D is incredibly important for the Fever. They're going to have to get back, at least 3 back always, because we will get pushed if they have steals, which that's where a lot of if they aren't going to play the slow half-court game, that's where a lot of the points are going to come from. It's steals mainly from Gabby Williams, who is leading the league in steals by a good margin. I think she had 8 in one game or something crazy like that. And they will push in transition. And the other thing, too, is when they push in transition, they're not going to push to go straight to the basket. They will actually push, and their runners will run to the corners, and they will kick out, similar to what we do with Lexi Hall when we kick out for 3 for her. On defense, they're going to blitz and they're going to trap if we go to the sides. So if any of that happens, we got to expect the blitz. We have to be prepared for it. We have to hit, roll, pass, move the ball, get a good open look. But we also have to keep tabs. Clark's going to have to keep tabs on Gabby Williams, because she is kind of like, again, she's into steals, but she will jump routes. She is like the defensive back to Clark's QBing in this game. She needs to be aware of where she is, where she's lurking, and where she's going to potentially try to get steals, because this team is very smart. They have a lot of high IQ players, which is why they have also been doing so good this season. And one of the other things too is this team has a ton of height. They have the triple towers: NECA, Ezzy McGregor, who's one of the best, has the most blocks in the league pretty much, and then Dominique Malonga, who's 6'6". Like they have a lot of tall players. However, surprisingly, you can drive a lot on this team, especially if you spread them out. If you pull their bigs out to the perimeter, they'll go out and guard the perimeter. You can drive on these players, especially if you can get some mismatches too. So definitely we can't be scared of taking it to the paint. With all that said, let's go through the lineup. First off is going to be Erica Wheeler. Erica Wheeler, former Fever alum. She left the Fever, was probably going to be an off the bench player. She was off the bench player for us, but she has found her home. She has been empowered. She has got the confidence, and she is playing really well. I'm happy for her, but in this game, I hope she has a stinker. I'm gonna be honest. I love you, Weezy, but this game you can take a game off of your stuff, right? You're popping off too much, all right? She will drive, she will pull up. She's a backup for Skylar, but she will take over the offense pretty admirably. I would say I would compare her similar to like an Ari McDonald. The kind of impact that she has, except for she's even shooting better and more efficient there. She'll drop 17 some nights. She's been on one. So the best way to defend her is, again, slow her up the court. We're going to do the same thing as Skylar Diggins. We should pick her up, slow her up the court, eat into the shot clock for them. They're a slow team. And then we also need to disrupt her momentum on ball catches. So if she's going to catch the ball, don't let her just catch and make a cut. Disrupt that. Get up, bump her, do whatever you can. Now, for Skylar, she's the main point guard. She is incredibly athletic. When she gets confident, she will start pulling like the Caitlin Clark, eye of the tiger. She's going to step back through you. She's going to get you. And the best way to defend her is, again, slow her up the court. No clean pull-up shots. She's one of the best players for the pull-up jumper. She's like in the top 10 players in the league. And no straight drive angles. Again, we can't give her clear drive angles. I think the way you beat her, actually, on top of this, is really the other secret thing is the mental game. Skylar Diggins is a player that will crash out. Last year, she crashed out when CC was popping off, and it led to a big thing near the end of the game. But I think she is a player that you can get in her head, and if Caitlin Clark can find that demon in her for this game, this is a game where that demon will do work on Skylar Diggins. So hopefully we see Clark come out with the confidence, come out with the fire. Hopefully she's feeling a little bit better, and she shows up in this game. Of course, Gabby Williams, I've talked a lot about her. Leads the league in steals. She's very smart. Clark is going to have to read her where she is. And we will have to, again, like look out for her to drive on us pretty heavily. The best way to defend her is actually dare her to shoot the three. Her three isn't as great. She would rather drive. A lot of her points are going to come in transition or coming off of driving. It's going to be less from the three-pointer. For the bigs, we are going to have to deal with Nneka Ogwumike, who is Madam President, who is one of the smartest and best bigs in the league. Arguably, I would say this year, I would put her on the same tier as an Asia Wilson comes in, and you have to game plan for her. She's great on D. She can shoot the three. Again, incredibly smart player. She's really good off switches, really smart off switches. So the best way to defend her is we need to get her out of rhythm on the catch. So right as she is going to catch, we need to be able to, we need to front her. We need to three-quarter her. We need to bring weak side help. For any lob passes that are going to come in over the top, we need to stop her from getting the ball and catching in rhythm in the first place. If she gets the ball, we can't reach. She's one of those players that's going to be really smart. She's going to pull the foul, draw the foul. We need to send help to dig if she puts the ball on the floor, and we need to never dig or stunt from the corners. If you make any help from the corners, they will kick out to the corner three and they will shoot the corner three. They love the corner three. They will live and die there. They love that. And speaking of people to watch out in the corners, before we get to the rest of the bigs, Alicia Clark is that player. She's a three-point specialist from that corner block. That's her spot. That's her home. That's where she makes most of her money, as well as just being a tenacious player that is a glue player. She'll match up against bigs, even though she's a little bit on the smaller side. And for her, really, the best thing to do is you can't leave her alone. Can't leave her open in the corner. If you do, they will hit her. She will score. We will have a bad night. The rest of the bigs, we have Ezzy McGregor. Again, tall player, leads the league in blocks most years. I think there was a game that I went to and watched in person last year. She had 8 blocks in one game. It was against this guy. But she is weak against the pick and roll. So if we can get her as the defender in the pick and roll, we can't abuse her. And also, she's actually not as good in ISO. She's more, if like she's around, she can time your shot as you're coming in as a help defender, and she will block and protect the rim that way more than as a one-on-one defender. Last but not least, again, I mentioned her, the rookie Dominique Malonga, 6'6", very good. She is going to be one of those players that just goes into the middle of the paint. They toss it to her. She turns around. She shoots. She makes moves. She will run in transition. Lord have mercy if we would have had her on our team. She will run the full court, and stopping a 6'6" player that can sprint the floor, catch the ball, and do a layup is really, really hard. It's very, very hard. Kelsey Mitchell, we better be taking charges if she's doing, if otherwise just she's going to the hole. However, the way that you beat her is defensively, lots of pump fakes. She'll fall for it. You'll be able to get her to foul out really easily. She's really susceptible to that. We need to take, again, advantage of the fact that she is a young player. She's raw. She's going to be able to be fooled, and we can give her difficult reads. Again, she will struggle in pick and roll and read situations, and be physical with her. Again, young player, new to the game. Welcome her to the WNBA. That's what we need to do. And right now, she is good under the rim, but as a shooter, she's not super consistent. Her turnaround, her shoot, even from the middle of the key, if she gets it, she might get it easy. But as long as we make it slightly difficult, she's probably going to miss. So, with all that said, those are kind of the keys to the personnel in this game and people to look out for. Again, let me know, was this helpful for you? Did you learn about some of these players that you've never seen play before? Is there another player on the Storm that I didn't mention that you would like to hear about? And remember, as always, you're going to be amazing today because you are amazing. And I'll catch you next episode.